Welcome to Oh Brother, a podcast of three brothers trying to figure everything out with your hosts Brandon, Collin, and Aaron. On this week's show, Shovel Safety 101. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I don't know where that came from. I'm so sorry.
Seinfeld. That's where it came from. That's why.
Good for me. I didn't. It wasn't. It was. Anyway.
Back.
Yes. What's going on?
Sorry, I'm trying to close. I'm trying to close everything else out real quick.
I need to get Aaron to unmute himself.
Okay.
All right.
It's muted again.
How was I muted?
McMuterson.
I have the little swipey thing. Oh, I do have the swipey. This way, if I swipe myself, it goes unmute, but if I'm sitting there talking...
Aaron.
And now I'm back.
Aaron.
Hello.
Aaron. Swipey.
What an
no
odd
swipey.
live test.
Aaron. Swipey. No swipey.
Oh, dear.
Oh, the swipe.
Oh, no.
Anyway.
I don't know.
Oh, swipey. No swiper.
Ask Dora.
Dora. ¿Dónde está el swipey?
Where is this one? Not quite, but anyway, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Good. Good. That's
Ugh.
better.
Yes. Is that-
Oh. I am going on my first landowner visit in 9 months tomorrow. So,
well, hey.
getting out of the office, boys.
You mean your living room?
Hey.
My gonna be good. Have to be at the office at 5 a.m. so I can then drive for 3.5 hours to meet them at 9 to then turn around and come back home.
Ew.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not gross.
Yeah, well, that's what happens whenever you get the Ozark region and you have to go down to like Douglas and Wright County. Really? Like, what the?
Oh, yeah.
Ew.
Wow.
And I don't live there. I live by Kansas City, you know. So,
Yeah.
Fun. Little
Yuck.
Missouri geography fun for our international.
Douglas County.
Yeah, I
There
gotta
we
go to
go.
Douglas and then go into Pulaski because there's a. So
Oh.
the first guy.
Man, you're hitting all the hot spots, right? That's what he's doing.
All the cool ones. The first landowner has 3,500 feet of bank that hasn't really lost a whole lot over the course of the years. But going back to the late 80s, early 90s, there have been no trees on this bank. So it's pretty stable, but he's a relatively new landowner. And he's been told no a couple times. So I get to play bad guy and say, no, really no. No, this is not a place for a project. This is not a place to invest 30 tons of rock. You need in hundreds of thousands of dollars, plant some trees and walk away.
Yeah. Some lovely native species, right? Some nice
Yeah.
boom.
Oak, pecans, what have you. Yeah. So what makes it
True.
also difficult is that there is a power line cut through that
Walnut.
goes right over the bank. And on the opposite bank, there is an old county road it's a county road, but it's not even gravel. It's literally like a grass road through a field. It's pretty cool.
So that means we need a shorter tree. So that can only mean two options. So that means dogwood or sassafras.
Oh,
Yep.
I was hoping to make
Perfect.
a nice path of shrubbery.
Well, I mean, you could make a path of dogwood. That'd be lovely.
Make a path dog.
Right.
Careful, watch out. Anyway, that's a bad joke. And the second landowner is complaining because, get this, she lives on a creek named Beaver Creek. Guess what her problem would be?
Are there beavers in her creek?
You know, there are a couple beavers in her creek.
Whoa!
So shocking. Shocking.
Who could have possibly imagined
That
there would be beavers
in Beaver Creek.
in Beaver Creek?
So they're not happy that there is flooding on their hayfield because they beavers are the only animal that's like, ooh, look at that flowing water. Let's stop it. Ecosystem engineers over there doing all of their engineering of ecosystems. So we get to go out and one of the emails that I got from an individual was like, "Oh yeah, I was down there and I saw it. I think a stick of dynamite and a backhoe would take care of it in an afternoon."
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Earth kind of programmed as Collin working.
Yeah,
here.
talk about channel damage.
Right? It was like, well, let's talk about that when we get down there and see. So, I mean, the owner has every right to trap the beaver. If they don't want the beaver as a way to remove it, right? They can get a trapping license, or you can actually pay for a trapper to come and remove beavers if they're being a nuisance to you.
Yeah.
But no dynamite, please.
Blowing up a stream.
It's not.
It always amazes me, like, I guess I'm just very ignorant in these manners, but like the way that gets bandied around and the number of people that actually have legitimate access to dynamite is like distressing. Right?
Yeah, right? Like,
yeah, I can just get some. My cousin's got some in the shed. You're like,
yeah.
What? Why? Where?
And they're like,
where did he get that? How old is that? If you sneeze in the shed, will it just detonate? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, and it's all very confusing and very concerning. So we'll see. If
oh boy,
we'll see what happens, and then get to drive 3.5 hours back.
Woohoo!
Be fun.
That sounds fun.
If only you had some podcasts to listen to.
If only.
Man, that'd be handy, wouldn't it?
Wait.
Wait a second.
Oh, man.
Wait a minute.
So, yeah, it'll be good. At least it's a nice day. It's going to be nice and sunny. It's going to be like 67. So,
it's true.
It'll be a nice day to be in the
Hey.
So we're doing our digging project tomorrow.
Oh. Haha. Digging update. Where did you find your locale?
Yeah, I went out today after school and was wandering around. And I talked to one of the custodian guys. And he was like, I was like, yeah, I was just trying to figure out how far west I could go. And he's like, well, heck, you can go all the way to that road down there. We own all that property. All right.
Fan out, kids.
Yeah, we gotta go. Like, all right, there we go. He's like, just probably don't dig up like in the middle of the softball field. It's like, yeah, I kind of figured that would probably be a bad idea. Like,
stay away from the manicured lawns. Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's see what's under home plate. Here we go. No, I'm just kidding.
Where's Jimmy Hoffa?
Yes. No. So yeah, it's a mystery about exactly how far I'm going, but we're gonna go some new ground because one of the places I dug last time on the south part is the place where the ag kids and the farmer that lives behind us, they do planting there, so they plant stuff agriculturally, right? And so a lot of it has been heavily plowed. Certain points. So in order to get to any useful strata, you have to go like very deep. I don't really. And nobody got time to be digging like actual giant holes, right? We're not Shia LaBeouf here. We're not going to like.
Hey.
As much as Aaron would want that to be. Sorry, Aaron. No.
Yes, that's true. That's all. So yeah, we're gonna go see how far we can make it out there. But there's a giant field over there on the other side of the ag barn. There's like a show barn out there where they keep some of the bigger livestock the ag kids have. And there's like a huge field over there that's just empty.
Oh.
So yeah.
Guess where we're going.
Yeah, that's right. So it's all good. So yeah, let's go out tomorrow just because it'll be nice. Yeah, finally found all the shovels. I bought Lowe's out of shovels. They have no more. If you want to find some, they're all gone. Yeah, who knew? We're not stocking the ones I wanted.
Oh no,
because the ones I wanted were the cheap ones. If you would like to buy a $35 shovel, you can go. They still have that one. Because, no. What the heck? What are you doing?
You're not equipping your students with professional tools here, it sounds like.
Yeah, they're fine. They'll be okay. Nobody needs that. What in the world? What are you doing? Why? Like the most utilitarian thing ever. Oh, yes. $45 of, carbon fiber.
Yeah,
fiberglass. First of all, no. Nobody
Nobody needs that in the shovel.
You want to dig in Missouri with fiberglass hand? No. No, thank you. I am out. That is not helpful.
I'd like to give you a visual description of shattering. And 1, 2, 3. Right?
Yeah. So it's very. What I'm trying to say, international friends, is that the dirt here, the soil here in this part of the state is extraordinarily rock filled, which is why we're digging for rocks for my project. So it will not take long to find many ice samples. But the underlying geology is very rocky. Okay, it's on a plateau, so rocks everywhere. So I try to dig in that with a handle that's even if it's reinforced fiberglass, that's just. No, I'm out. Thank you. So, yeah. Doing that tomorrow. So we'll see how it goes. Figured it's better to. We're not quite ready to be studying the samples just yet. But the weather this week is yep, it's time to gather them because. Next week is not going to be great. Next week's not going to be fantastic, and then it's break time. So that means I would have to trust in the first week of January weather to be nice, and I do not have that.
No, not trustworthy at all.
Yeah, now that I've done it, the first week of January will be fine. But I just know that if I waited, the first week of January would be 30 degrees. Dang it.
No, it totally was. Yeah.
So stink. So yeah, that's the plan for tomorrow.
Cool.
It'll be good. Get outside, go do some stuff. We had safety talks today about how shoveling works, how to not smack people in the head with shovels. Please don't do that.
No high sticking.
Yes. Shovel safety 101 we had today. So it was good.
Well, that's nice. So do you have them wash the rocks? How are they?
Oh yeah, we will do that.
Do you get back into the?
Yeah, we'll probably do some of that Friday. Tomorrow we probably won't have time. So, and then Thursday we have something else to do, so we can table it. But we'll probably just make sure we wipe a lot of the dirt off on the grass outside, kind of knock it off. And then Friday we'll probably do some washing. We'll actually just get a bucket and wash them, and do some prepping. Last year we had to wash a second time just because they didn't get it all off. And then when we do the actual studying, because some of them we can break open, so we can try to look for the features, what's going on in there, and that kind of stuff. It's kind of but we definitely do clean them up so we can kind of see what's going on with the stuff. Sure. So that will be probably Friday or maybe next week, since it's the last week before break. That would be a good thing to do next week. Just kind of hang out,
Wash rocks.
Clean up our samples. Yeah. See how it goes. So, huh?
No, she's welcome class today.
Yeah.
You're all excited about break coming up tomorrow. It's first.
Yeah. They're all like, do we like scrub them? I was like, well, I don't have any brushes. They're like, what about a toothbrush? And I was like, no, I need that for my teeth. And they're like, no, not your. So they didn't like my joke very much, but it'll be fine. So yeah, I don't know. That either Friday or next week we'll do that. Because Friday we might do something else. We'll have to see where we are in our course of action, but it'll be all right. Got everything ready to go. So tomorrow we can just come in and go outside. No waiting around. Boom.
Again, it's going to be a really nice day outside tomorrow. Should be, I hope.
Is it going to be a really nice day at 8 o'clock in the morning?
It will be a very nice, crisp morning.
Yeah. My first class is at 8. So they're going to get a little brisk wake up, but it'll be fine.
Which is fine. You know, it's good for the
That's the other reason I can't wait for January is because my classes are in the morning.
Yeah.
So I don't trust the morning temperature. Yeah. In the morning's like 25 degrees. Even if in the afternoon it'll be warm enough, the morning it'll be cold. And we can't
morning most surely not.
I'll get shouted at big time if I do that. So
need any more yelling or screaming.
That is true. So yeah. What about you, Aaron? What are you up to?
Let's see here. What is today? The 8th. So celebrated 1 year anniversary with Shelby.
Hey.
It was mostly just us running around from work, but we're doing some party activities this coming weekend. And so I'm going to go out and do some stuff for that. I'm on call for the whole county. Yay. Starting Friday. So it just adds more fun. What else are we doing? I went deer hunting this weekend.
Yes.
Got a nice little 7-point buck. Got to clean it, got to skin it, all that stuff. I did not do the skinning. My friend Michael, of whom I've been hunting with the past 10 years, we always go down and to his folks' property, and we just kind of, do some hunting on their land down there, and then so we got a nice little buck this weekend, and then what else? I think it's really about it. Not a whole lot of work is just absolutely crazy right now. Everyone came back from Thanksgiving break, and so we're now seeing a lot of the stuff from that. So break has been, or work, especially this week. Last week was not too terrible, but this week has been really crazy. And so I'm just trying to facilitate just having to go out and do investigations and just running around. I had 2 yesterday, talked to 12 different people with 3 different families. And so it's a lot of craziness on that side. But I think other than that, work's work. Getting some festivity plans for Christmas, and after Christmas we're gonna have some of Shelby's friends come up, and we're gonna spend New Year's doing some New Year'sy things. And then the new DLC for Warhammer Total War came out on the 3rd. So I haven't been playing that as much because work has been absolutely insane. I spent all of Saturday after I got home from hunting, just typing up cases, and so I've played it very little. But yeah, so the new DLC, the Twisted and the Twilight DLC came out.
There we go.
This podcast is not sponsored, but it'd be cool if it was. And yeah, that's about it. About it on my end.
Excellent.
You said a word there.
Hey.
Did you say TDs?
Oh, DLC.
D.
That is
DLC, downloadable content
Okay.
with a free, an FLC, a free, content.
there we go.
With FL, you twisted it in the Twilight.
Yeah, so some of those giant games like that, what they do to keep them relevant is you have the base game and then they add, it's like an expansion, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
They're like, ooh, here's more game for you for like sometimes it depends on the game, but there's like if you pay like $5 more or $10 more or if they're really big, like a lot more dollars, like here's more game to throw at you. So it keeps it like relevant.
So with this one, Warhammer 2, they came out with the base game almost a year, I think over a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And then over time, like every few months, they've just released updates and then release new factions and new races and new lords and new units and new all this kind of stuff. But they just kind of sporadically come out. And then next year, I think they're coming out with Warhammer 3, and they'll do the same thing. And so, I was waiting on this one. They tease, they wait for like 2 or 3 months, and they tease something out, and then they come out with a release trailer of what it is, and then there's a whole big the content creators on YouTube freak out, and they do videos over it, and then like a week or two later, then the content will be released. And I got this off of Steam for like $8.
Yeah.
So they're not too terrible. I have dropped a lot of money on this game. But it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Well, I mean, it's if you're gonna play like one game, like it's fine.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It makes sense to like just keep buying new stuff. If you're a person that plays like just tons of different ones, DLC is kind of just like whatever. Like I don't care. I'm already playing the next game, and I don't really want to go back to the one that I've been. So, but if you're still playing it like 3 months later, you're like here's more game. You're like okay, so like, sweet.
Yeah,
this game for sure has a lot of replay value. And I think that's kind of a really big thing for me is just instead of having to like, oh, I gotta, play this game and then wait a few months, I could literally pick up this game at any time and then just kind of continue it from there. So I do love this game in that aspect. And there's always something new to try or something new to play in this game. And to me, it's just always been fun in that regards. And yeah, I was excited because I was waiting for a long time.
Really, really confusing, dense lore, and he's
that's the other thing. There's a lot to this.
A lot is like the biggest understatement ever. We talk about the Warhammer storyline. Oh my god. What I have it's the most confusing thing I have ever seen. It does.
There's no way to like. I mean, people have YouTube channels and they've had them for like 10 years, and they're still coming out with content to talk about. Like it's just that in depth because they're like, oh yeah, someone released this, and now we're talking about it because there's just so much people have to do with it. And you get into the whole, there's 2 kinds of Warhammer. You have Warhammer Fantasy and then Warhammer 40K.
I wasn't even gonna bring that up because that's confusing.
Oh, I like both.
Even more confusing.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it's I started playing. Plus, I love the Warhammer or the Total War series. I'm like, what's this crazy game? There's the magic and the vampires. And, no, there's giant lizards. Yes, why I need to play more. And the vampires with vampire pirates. Yes, please.
And vampire pirates.
Yeah, and so
this is the true statement.
Yes.
I will
So
have
so
to-
for me, there's a lot to it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and it's crazy. The first you first mentioned that back in our good news episode, way back in May. So it's cool that you're still getting so many legs. Got a lot of legs to it.
Yes. Yeah, they'll always be. There's enough content to release for years, so I think they'll be fine for a while. At least, hopefully. But yeah, they'll never run out. They have copious amounts of all of the things.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's what's doing down here in Oklahoma.
All right. How exciting.
Yeah.
Very.
Might have some deer meat ready for the holidays for everybody.
Yeah.
On that,
just let me know.
Aaron sent me the picture.
Do they have?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh
No, I was. You start first. I have a second question.
Aaron sent me that picture.
I was going to ask if the chronic wasting disease was a problem in Oklahoma that you had to worry about.
Yes, so that still is a thing. But so there's a lot of visible signs. Because I remember we were actually talking about this, and I had to look it up because I had never seen one. So what it's called is hold on. Hold on. Where are you? What day is that? What day was Saturday?
That's
not what that is.
Saturday.
Dude.
For the 4th, I guess. Fifth.
CWD, chronic wasting disease.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
No, I know, but they're the acronym for it. Is an always fatal contagious neurological disease affecting deer species, including reindeer, elk, and mooses. It causes a characteristic spongy degeneration of the brains of infected animals, resulting in emaciation, abnormal behavior, loss of bodily functions, and death. Here in Oklahoma, I still believe that if you come across one, you have to burn it. You have to burn, like you shoot it and then you burn the carcass right then and there, to make sure you. Yeah, it's a whole big thing. If you kill one and get it processed, I think you have to.
They test it, right?
Yeah. For my deer, since getting processed is so expensive, I was like, nah, mine clearly doesn't have it. So,
wait a minute.
Mine didn't have the spongy degeneration because, you can visibly see, like loose skin, and the fear of humans is just gone. Like it just wanders around, and kind of all this stuff. And so there's an actual look that it does. And so, thankfully, mine didn't. Mine was a good 120 pounds of just, deer.
I'm glad there wasn't any alpaca.
Anything else?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got it cleaned. My friend has it with him. He's going to process it. He's going to ground down the not beef. What is it called?
Venison.
Deer meat.
He's going to turn it into a cow.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah, magic, it's alchemy.
And
it was not 100% deer.
you're going to get some deer steaks from it, and maybe a little bit of jerky, and yeah.
Cool.
And then I got I requested, since actually this is actually my first buck. I did request that the antlers be chopped off, and to which he's going to mount it on a little plaque and
There you go.
stick in my office somewhere. So, boom.
Hang your hat on, literally.
Yes. Well, because this little guy came in and he didn't look that big, and I was like, nah, I don't need to kill him. And then everyone it was him, and it was 5 does and they all started to like walk away, and I was like, oh well, whoops, bam.
Oh,
But no, it was a clean kill, no suffering.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, my one of my friends used to have, his dad had one hanging on the wall, right? Because that's what apparently people do. And so we used to, his mom had like some dolls or stuffed animals like in the guest bedroom. And so we used to take the hats off and like put it on the deer to see how long it would take him to notice that we did that. So it had like little bonnets on it sometimes. It was great fun.
I did a deer check station in college back when you'd have to bring your deer to a spot, and it was kind of voluntary, some of them not, but you just had to show them your tag and make sure you were registered and everything. And part of that, they were collecting deer aging, right? So we were doing deer aging, and I forget where this check station was. I was data recorder because I was not about to be around all the blood and guts of a deer. But I was writing down the age of this deer, and I looked over, and the check station's dog, who was at a processor's, it was a beagle named Daisy. And
oh dear,
I look over, and the hunter gets the deer, and he lets his tailgate fall. Well, the deer was resting on the tailgate, so it falls down onto the concrete, bashing its head into the concrete, chipping off a piece of its skull and brain, goes scattering across the sidewalk. Daisy runs up and starts eating the brain on the sidewalk. I had to go sit down in the car for a little bit.
That's good.
Oh,
it's terrible.
Daisy.
And that is exactly why I remember that dog's name. It was Daisy, and that was well over. Gosh, it was 15 years ago, man. At this point,
no, don't say that out loud. That's hurtful. I know
that's long, but yeah, I was just like. Anyway,
that is rough. Oh, wait.
It was easy now because all I had to do was just literally get online, and then I had to put my name in and my license number, which was already pulled up, and then what time I shot, what county I shot in, and then was it antlered or antlerless, and then time, and then that's it. It was registered, and then it's just really expensive now to have it processed, like get the meat processed.
No, not now. Always has been.
Always. And so we're like, yeah, we'll just take it down and just do it ourselves. And I was like, ooh, okay. So I don't have to mess with having to drop it off somewhere and like, oh, hey, we got your deer, and oh, okay, well, take me about 3 hours to get there. So, but we are now trying to facilitate an elk hunt. Which, yes, there's elk here in Oklahoma.
Surprisingly. Really?
Yes, there is. If you go to the, I don't say the Arbuckle Poles. If you go to the kind of southwestern region-ish, maybe.
Yeah.
Or if you go kind of, let me look at my map. Hold on now. Yeah, if you kind of go towards like more south-ish, you get to the Oklahoma mountains, and there's actual elk. Yeah. There are elkies.
Oklahoma mountains.
Oh,
yeah, okay. Large hills. And so in Oklahoma they do draws where you can like it works with something to the fact
like a lottery.
Kind of, yeah. But it's weird. Like you put your register number and like you pay like $5, and you can then get drawn, or you can like get like 8 of your friends and do it all that way. And so like you can go on like a team hunt basically. And so we're going to try to get something that, get that going, because I've always wanted to go elk hunting, and my friends have also want to go elk hunting. The problem is we would have to go bow hunting. We would use crossbows, because hiking in mountains. They're like, yeah,
Oklahoma
we don't want
mountains.
to carry a gun.
Oh, come on. Just get tough. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fine.
no.
Crossbows aren't exactly the ones I've seen, like the hunting ones. They're not exactly like light things, right?
They're
It's not like
true.
By any stretch of the imagination.
but they are lighter than a traditional bow, and you don't have to be lugging around some big honking rifle
You'll
just
be fine.
to take.
Just you have to do some
Hell.
cardio before you go.
Yeah.
Well, so
It'll be good.
Do some
we've been working out like every morning and every evening, but it's like still it's like
See, there you go.
mountain,
That'll be
Keep
fine.
it up.
Do that.
Just get one of those color guard rifle things, like from marching band, and run around with that.
Yeah.
And be your training.
No
right?
cops will be called on you. Don't worry.
No, never.
Yeah.
And make sure you just tape it up like a bright color so that everyone can see it's fake. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And so that way you'll be prepared. That'll be your training regimen. And then you can like spin it too, because that'd be fun. Right.
Do a double or a quad.
Yeah. The words I don't remember from marching band. Yes, those things.
Yeah, that's kind of the goals. Either that, or we're gonna go hog hunting on the property. There's a lot of hogs up there, and I know shocker in Oklahoma, but
Yes. Colin's old friend, the hog. Yes, that's
hog.
okay.
But
Listeners can go back to some of the earliest episodes of Oh Brother and check out all of our discussions around hogs, hog hunting, and hog regulations, both in Missouri and the surrounding states.
Oh yes. We won't retread that here, but they're a gold mine. Let me tell you.
They are something that is exactly.
You'll also notice if you did listen to those episodes, Colin is currently still not in the woods tracking
No.
them. So that plan is, functioning greatly, apparently.
Lately, I know. I don't. I mean, we're all still being like, I guess like, because at first, I mean, those directives came down and they were like, everyone will, and then I think
maybe they accidentally got a bunch of people to volunteer that really like it, and they're just like, okay, we'll just do it.
That's the thing, is that the people who are volunteering are like, they love it and don't want to go back to their other jobs.
That's fine for you, because that means they'll just stay out there, right?
I'll just keep hiding away.
Yeah. You just get those like couple dozen people that are super into it to just go it on a rotation and like boom, it's done.
Yeah.
Got it. So there we go.
And I think the department has shifted. It has. I know this. Where they have, what they've done is they've looked around the department and taken hourly positions away from other places and dedicated those positions to full time.
Okay. That makes sense.
To be trappers and whatever, etc. So.
Yeah. Probably to the people that were just volunteering nonstop. Like, okay, how about we just give you this job?
Sure. Yeah, here you go.
Because clearly you're ready to go.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
It is that time of the year, though, where we start trying to strategize about what we are or are not going to try and be involved in to limit our exposure to the really, really bad jobs. So I probably will be doing something with like the winter cull of CWD deer and all sorts of stuff, which
is
not fun. It is what it is.
It's better than hog trapping.
It is better than hog trapping. 100%.
That's true.
Just a very true story.
That's true. So this I think this segues nicely into the question that was brought to my mind when Aaron sent that Twitter link earlier.
Okay.
Right. So Aaron shared a link on Twitter about Elon Musk's new factory he's trying to build in Berlin, like outside Berlin, Germany. Okay.
Link.
Yeah. So this crazy, weird, super villain / genius guy is building a Tesla factory in Germany, but the German government has stopped him. German listeners, please message in and tell me how wrong I am about any of this. But we also need your input. So here's my question. The German government kind of stepped in and said, no, you can't do that right now because of the snake species that lives in this forest.
Yeah.
And my brain immediately went, huh? Right? Because like it makes sense that would be happening, but my brain does not associate snakes with Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like when I think of snakes, I think of the United States, South America, Africa, particularly South Africa, and Australia. And that's kind of it, right? I mean, I know like Southeast Asia also, but like that's the snake. If I hear the word snake, those are the places that come to my mind immediately. And it makes sense that there would be snakes other places, right? I'm not saying it's impossible, but my brain does not register that happens. So I was like, that's weird. So first of all, I want to know what snake species are in Germany. This is very interesting to me now all of a sudden. And are there any other, do you guys have like anything like that? Is there like this trigger where you're like, oh, well, it only lives there and I can't imagine it living anywhere else? Another good example would be when Aaron said the words Oklahoma and elk in the same sentence. I went, huh? What? Knowing I am fully aware that the elk, the historic range of the elk was extending into Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Right. But the fact that they're still there makes me go, wait, what? What are you talking about?
Right.
So now there's like things linked strongly with certain areas, especially animal species, right? Because when I think of some areas, I think about certain animals. But like there's also the opposite of that, which is the blind spot where I'm like, that is there, but I wouldn't associate that with that. So you guys have anything similar to that? Do you have any similar thoughts? Because that was definitely my first one. It was like, snakes in Germany? Get out of here. What kind of those?
Well, yeah, no, that's a really good question because it gets at where, I don't know if it's just like where our not necessarily biases, but like just I think just the bulk of information, because all the places that you rattled off for where snakes are located are where like all of the snake specials that you'll find anywhere produced at any
That's
time.
true. We probably can blame David Attenborough in part for this, right?
Right.
It's partially his fault. But
nobody is talking about the whatever, like 3 or 6 snake species, whatever. I don't know, like how many in Germany. It's obviously not a lot. Otherwise, they'd be talking about them a lot more.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I imagine the ones in Germany aren't called like death adder, right? That's probably helpful.
Oh, well, I was going to say, I just pulled up a list and it talks about the first line of this article literally says, Europe is generally not the dream destination for snake enthusiasts and herpetologists. And then it goes on to list some adders. There's a common adder, and then there's an asp viper, and then there is a Yersinis viper, or Sinis viper,
but to
or
the
a
point
meadow
here,
viper.
none of them are labeled death adder, right?
Yeah. But see, again, I wouldn't even been like, oh man, vipers in Germany, right? I would think, again, my biases would be like, oh, they're like black snakes or like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
something like that. But no, there's like, I found a similar list. This one's probably not as,
because this one lists like this snake can be found in southeastern France, central Italy, West Balkans, aka former Yugoslavia, northern Greece, Albania, Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary, and Germany. Meadows, grassy fields, farmlands, or rocky hillsides. I'm like, oh wow, that's a huge range for a snake. That's not at all what I anticipated any of that being.
Yeah. So I just think it's interesting because, like, you just have these certain associations that you make about, like, this animal lives in this area, and that's clearly it. Cannot live anywhere else. So, like, when I think Germany, I think of things like deer, boar, that kind of stuff. I don't really think about like snakes, but it makes sense in a forest ecosystem, which southern Germany has. You know, there would be, right? But I don't know. Maybe I think Germany's colder than it is, right? But then snakes live in the cold too because they have snakes in like Maine. So that doesn't.
Well, it was like that one time I was doing. I don't know if you call it research. That thing where we were doing the sample stuff in the rivers, like in Dallas, and Collin was like, "Oh yeah, they found gators in this river, like just right over there." And I was like, we're standing in this river, and they found gators in Dallas. Like what? Like that is one of the things that for sure I was like, I've never thought of that or thought that would be a thing, but yeah, I guess it is. Thank you, Collin, for terrifying me.
And we
Appreciate it.
pulled the seine anyway.
It's fine.
I mean, yeah, I was thinking along those same lines of alligators. I mean, like for me, I had two examples kind of queued up in my brain of like alligators in Oklahoma. Like it still feels weird to me that there are instances of that.
That's true. Yeah,
not like again
traditional alligator territory, right?
Florida, Louisiana, right? But I know there are
Mississippi.
So like it, and I think that's just because when I think of Oklahoma, I think of Oklahoma and not necessarily like wetlands and bottom hardwood forests.
Yeah, but the southeast kind of is that, but that's not when you think Oklahoma, like your mind literally, I mean, the fact that they drill their state song into everyone's head where the wind blows swiftly across the plains, right?
Like plains.
Like plains. Yeah, plains, right? So when they're like alligators, like, wait, what? That doesn't make like, and then a lot of like the southwestern part, the part that I'm familiar with in the southwestern part of Oklahoma is like deserty, right? Like it's just like dune hills forever and like very dry, arid, rolling hills. Like, so yeah, you forget that there's
but then
actually
you get to like
stuff
like eastern Oklahoma, and it's like all like forest, and there's like a huge like lumber industry down there.
Yeah, on the Arkansas border there. It's really like over by the Boston Mountains in Arkansas, kind of.
Yeah. And like when we went down there for vacation, like a month or two ago, driving by all these, timber trucks, and I was like, I beg your pardon, in Oklahoma, what? Granted, I mostly see, again, Osage County, which,
well, yes,
if you leave outside the puff, you're literally in the plains.
Yeah, is prairie, right? So that's
prairie.
Is and prairie.
Yes, and so like stuff. I'm used to seeing that constantly, and especially if you go like towards Stillwater, there's nothing out there. But yeah, like you get if you're heading towards Texas, you get kind of more arid-esque. And then you pass through I'm pretty sure they're called the Arbuckle Mountains. I could be wrong. But yeah, there's just like other things that's like, really in Oklahoma? Are you sure I'm in the right state here? Because this does not seem at all what I would imagine, the state I've called home for numbers of years. Like, oh yeah, I do still live here, and there's always places to travel to or explore, and that you'd never be like, oh yeah, that does exist here. Wow.
Yeah, so I just thought it was an interesting question because there's like those hallmark animals that you think of, right? Like, the Missouri, I would say, was probably like the white-tailed deer, right, or something like that.
Well,
because that's like
now,
ubiquitous,
right?
It's everywhere.
Yeah, now it is, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, like currently, I'm talking about currently, not like
sure.
in the 50s when there was zero deer anywhere because it killed them all. or that time in Missouri where there was like no turkeys ever again. Like now they're like everywhere. But like that's kind of the animal I think of. And again, that's very biased to the fact that I live in the southern part of Missouri, where those things are just like actually everywhere.
Literally, like.
And when you think about like Colorado, I think of like elk,
Puma.
or bear, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think about elk in. I even forget there's elk in Missouri sometimes because they try to reintroduce them here as well. And people are like, "Oh yeah, the elk in Missouri," and I'm like, "The what?" Oh,
oh
yeah,
103 of them.
Yeah, I didn't say there was a lot
in Peck Ranch, right?
Yeah, there's not a lot, but there are there.
Yeah,
about similarly to apparently the Oklahoma elk that are mysterious. So like, I just think it's interesting how there is that like touchstone sort of species marker that you think about, like, oh, if Australia, you just think about like kangaroos and koala bears, and that's really it. Unless you know more about it, right? Those are like the ones that come to mind immediately.
Yeah.
Right. And then like, other places have different ones, and like, or maybe you just like, there's some that haven't made an impression on me. Like, what is it called? Hold on. I have to look it up. There's a spider in India that's like the blue sapphire thing, like the Goody spider or whatever. It's like this giant blue tarantula.
Oh.
So I think about that.
Yeah.
Because it's awesome looking.
Well,
and then
yeah,
like,
well, like, so when
tigers, because I watched the Jungle Book. But like,
sure. When I think of, so for me, when I think of India, I think of the street monkeys that steal things from people's as they walk.
True.
When I think of South America, I think of birds, because that's where all of like the specials for birds are, right? You go to the rainforest, and
or like the New World monkeys, like the small monkeys with the big long tails that jump around all that stuff, right? That's why that's very South America, like the spider monkey, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that's a very South American thing.
Oh, one thing. Oh, here's an amazing one. One that I always forget is that Europe has roaming hedgehogs.
Yeah, exactly, right? There
are hedgehogs in Europe that people find in their garden. Like, it's
very English, right? I hear about them in England a lot, right? It's like, oh, there it is, just around.
That hurts my brain so much to think that they just have them roaming around. Like, and in my brain, it's like, yeah, like I know it's an animal, but like, where would you find that? Like, I think that they're not there, but they are. Or like weasels, like because we don't have those here. Like, that's a thing there.
Exactly.
Like tree martins, like that's a thing, more of a thing there than it is here. And I always forget, like, the kids have this book where it's like you travel around the world and you see animals right there, and some of them are pretty stereotypical, but like England, Europe has swans and hedgehogs, and I'm like, huh? Oh, that's right. That's right.
Like, yeah, those things do actually have a well, because you see them so much out of context, right? You only see them in like a zoo or at like a swan, and they're like, every once in a while there's one at a park, right? But it's because it like lives there and its wings are all broken, and they just rehomed it in a park somewhere. You know what I mean? And so you see them only out of context, and you sort of lose the fact that they actually live in an area. Like another example, that when you said hedgehog, you made me think of guinea pigs.
Yeah.
Right? Guinea pigs live in Peru, in the mountains, right? Just hanging out, doing stuff. Doing,
if I'm being perfectly
whatever guinea pigs do, which in Peru apparently is getting eaten by Peruvians, but they still have to like get them. They're still like a wild animal in Peru, just running around doing stuff. But that was something that my like 9th grade science teacher had on the table over there, right? Like it was, it's a weird, to think that that's an animal that just roams around in Peru, just do. Like what? It's so weird to think about, because even on television, I haven't really seen that context, right? You don't see that part because guinea pig's not glamorous,
they don't talk
but
about guinea pig.
It's one of those things that you just like, it's an animal. It has a wild home somewhere.
It's a native
but
range.
Yeah, it has a native range and a habitat, and it fits in an ecosystem somehow, and it's not. But my brain does not register it because it's so. I guess alien would be the word, right? Just so outside of what I'm used to thinking about. Because again, my ecosystem knowledge is very specific to the one in which I inhabit. You know.
That was for sure the main ideas I had, especially when Collin would have like the hamsters or the chinchillas. I remember like walking in, and I was like, "Where did this come from?"
First of all, those are gerbils.
Gerbil. Oh no, he had. Did you have like a chinchilla?
I had chinchilla hamsters.
Hamsters,
yeah. But still, you have to think about, where does a hamster come from? Like, for real.
What is
like
this
that's
creature, and what is this in the wild? Because I was like, I've never seen any documentary with like this thing just like chilling. I've never seen any like one of those like little zoo book that says, "Oh, the natural habitat of the gerbil." Like,
first of all, shout out to Zoobooks. Holy cow! I hadn't thought about that in a long time. Wow. Okay.
Heck yeah. Bringing it back to old school.
Wow. Okay.
Dentist office we'd go to, and but yeah, like, I mean, I just remember seeing things like that. I was like, where did this come from? And
still get a subscription of Zoobooks. Oh, that's pretty cool.
You can, really?
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, so this tells me that gerbils can inhabit Africa, India, and other parts of Asia.
Yeah.
Like Mongolia. What? Like, see, that's, who knew, right? Like, I think at some point, this one of those originally native to Turkmenistan. Boom.
Really?
There we go. Who knew? Once a Mongolian species? No. Yeah, so Central Asia, home of a lot of gerbil. And it makes sense, right? They have the sort of qualities of like arid, deserty animal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, it's such a animal that you only have seen in like kindergarten classrooms or Colin's room when he was younger.
Yeah. Giving him toilet paper rolls, right? Yeah. Like,
hey, yeah.
Don't really view them as being wild at that point.
Yeah. But there are, right? It's just it's a thing that you're like, whoa. Yeah, if somebody showed me a documentary about Turkmenistan, they were like, and then here is the gerbil colony. I'd be like, what? Hold on.
That is.
Wait a minute.
You're not just going to speed past that, please. Much like
back that up.
Much like the annoying segment in Planet Earth where they're talking about Lake Baikal and they say home to
I hate that.
only freshwater seal. Cut scene and move on. And I'm sitting there going,
yeah, you're like, whoa. This is important. Why are you not talking more about that?
The first time I've ever heard about this, you must go back and tell me more. What?
Yeah, first of all, that one clip you showed me, that thing is adorable. Okay, so back it up. Tell me more about the freshwater seal. I must know.
That thing.
Anyway. Oh, yeah. That's crazy. That is crazy. Or again, like that makes you think too of a peacock, right? A peacock is a wild bird, from India, right? I only ever see them at the zoo when they're being like really loud and shouty, right? Yeah, that's terrible peacock noise. But like, you don't think about it as just like it lives in the woods in India. Whoa. That's crazy, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because that's not like any. It's so different from any bird around here. Even like a large bird, like a turkey, which it sort of resembles. Mm-hmm. It's like a turkey's really, really flamboyant cousin. It's like, and I'm sure somebody that lives in India would see a turkey and be like, "Whoa, that's crazy." What is that? You know what I mean? It's just the context that you.
Yeah. Well,
Indian listeners, let me know how your thoughts on turkeys.
Right. I am looking forward to our 5 German listeners writing in about snakes, so that'll be very exciting.
Yes, please.
Don't let us down.
Yeah. So anybody that would like to write in about their native flora and or fauna, please. We're interested to know one of those things in your community that you're like, oh yeah, this is like the thing that I've probably never heard of, right?
Yeah. But yeah, it does have that context of
Much like you probably skipped those segments we talked about hogs and deer because you were like, I don't even know what that is. Get out.
why are they so fixated on this right now? This is really, really boring.
It's
But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I guess what I'm thinking of is like, if I were walking through the woods and I turned to my left and I saw a blank, how freaked out would I be? I mean, if I were walking along a path and I looked down and I saw a hedgehog, I would be like so excited. I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, it would be very like, whoa, very jarring.
Very jarring. Very jarring. Same thing with peacocks. Like if you were just hiking through the woods and looked over and there was a gaggle of peacock. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah.
Right? I would just be beside myself with like, what? Like that is a thing.
Now, I will tell you, like I had a similar experience when I was walking through, because when I went to Australia, one of the things that we did is we went to the Blue Mountains and we went like walking on this like wooded trail thing. And it was like winter time in Australia. So like not lots of stuff out, and there was a lot of people there. So there wasn't like lots of animals out there, but like you're just sort of walking through the woods and there's like birds around and stuff, right? But so there's like this weird element of familiarity because you're like, oh, I'm walking through the woods on a trail. It's like the nature center in Springfield, right? Or, you know, I'm walking through the Ozark Mountains, whatever. But then you like sort of look at the trees.
Oh.
And they're just all different.
Sure.
All of them. And you like look at the bird and it's like a weird color bird. You're like, what? Like, this is it's a really odd experience because it's like,
sure,
this is really familiar. And yet so not at the same time. Like it's so like there's this really weird element of strangeness, right? Of it's familiar. I am in this situation. I've been in like literally thousands of times in my life. I am walking through the woods, right? But these woods are like weird,
just slightly
right?
off.
Everything is different. All these trees are different. Yeah, right. All the trees are different. Right. All the bird species that are here are not familiar to me. Right. New Zealand was even weirder because all of their trees are just crazy. They're like all conifers of some variety. Right. And it's like, what are these? Like, it's very odd to be in that situation where it's like, it's familiar and yet so not at the same time. It was very interesting, that experience, right? I just remember like walking down this path, just walking with Susan through the woods, you know.
Yeah.
Done that a bunch of times. But like the whole woods are just like different. There's like these weird ferns and like all the leaves are strange shapes. Some of the trees are gigantic. You're like, what in the world is that? It was really, and I'm sure if I would have seen like some sort of animal, I would have been like, whoa, what in the world? What the heck is that? You know, I mean, it's crazy. Like, I don't know.
I mean, it's a good reminder that, you know, what we are familiar with is totally what we exactly take for granted. And that is the other lived reality of somebody else. I guess it's kind of like, you know, people in France, like they don't go to the Eiffel Tower. Why? I mean, because it's filled with annoying Americans taking pictures above it and below it.
I mean, definitely that's one reason.
But B, because it's just in your backyard, right? It's not exciting to go and see that because it's just always there. Like it's always that kind of thing. But same thing with the natural world. Yeah, like you said. Oh, I'm going to go hike in the woods. Well, definitionally, the woods is very different right now when we're over here in New Zealand.
Yeah, right. It's not the same
as
it would be,
but different context.
Right? Exactly. So yeah, it's just a weird. That's what it made me think of when I saw the article. That was the big thought I had, was like, whoa, what is this? This is all weird and crazy. Snakes in Germany? No way. Can't be happening.
Yeah. I didn't know exactly what I was getting myself into when I clicked on the video. I was like, this isn't real. And then everyone started talking, and I was like, oh, this is 100% real. Well, never mind then.
Yeah.
Because that is not at all what I was expecting. But the kind of, talking about, regionally wise of just kind of, things that people aren't, used to or have seen. In Oklahoma, I looked at the ecoregions, high plains, southwestern tablelands, central Great Plains, also Flint Hills, Cross Timbers, east central Texas Plains, south central plains, the Ouachita Mountains, which
Ouachita.
Ouachita? Oh, Ouachita.
That too.
In the south eastern corner, we have the Arkansas Valley, Boston Mountains, Ozark Highlands, and Central Irregular Plains. And looking at those, I was like, I didn't know 6 of those existed in my state. I just thought I'd just pull those up real quick just to kind of see, like, what else is in Oklahoma that I am missing?
It's also weirdly more geographic regions than Missouri has. Somehow. It doesn't really make sense. Oklahoma, but like that is more. It sounds like more geographic regions than Missouri. I don't remember.
It depends on, well, okay, so it will depend on what level of ecoregions you're talking about.
True.
So, Aaron, are you talking about level 3, level 4, or what level?
I don't know. I have a book that says Oklahoma Wildlife, and on the back of it has a little picture that literally says Oklahoma ecoregions. And then it has a little number thingy of different sites, like the National Wildlife Refuge.
Well, and ecoregions are different than the geologic regions. I know that because Missouri has only a few of those.
And they're different than the EDUs.
Yeah, one thing.
Anyway, it looks like these are probably, I'm going to guess that these are level 4 because...
what does that mean?
It means more narrow. So level 3 ecoregions.
That's what I thought.
So like Missouri has 4 level 3 ecoregions, but they have like 8 or 9 level 4.
Okay, so I'm probably familiar with that level 3s then. That's like the broad, like, the southwestern part.
Well, it's like the Highlands, Central Plains, in the lowland Mississippi alluvial stuff. So it's and depending on if you're talking to like,
and then the glacial plains in very northern Missouri.
plains, river, that kind of thing. So
yeah, but the level 4s are like that. They count that weird area between, like on the border with Kansas. It's like its own special thing, right? Like the southern part of Missouri is broken into like 4 different ones based on where it is, right? Like the southwestern bit is different than the middle southwestern bit.
I just pulled it up because I was curious. It's Springfield Plateau, dissected Springfield Plateau / Elk River, White River, Central Plateau, Osage Gasconade, San Francisco Knob Basins, Merrimack River Hills. Anyway, it's mostly they start narrowing in on large rivers and the watersheds for those.
Well, that makes sense in Missouri. That would be lots of rivers everywhere.
No, ecoregion talk. Cool.
Yeah. Well, there we go then. Again, I just thought it was interesting because it made me think about lots of different stuff. It was like, whoa.
I like it a lot.
Who knew? There you go. Listeners, let us know things that are familiar to you and then things that you would find very alien if you saw them that might be different from your normal neck of the woods, wherever you are. Again, hello, Singapore. How's it going? I'm real interested in what they have to say, too, because that would be... Again, because, like, even Singapore, like, I don't really... It's such a small area that I wouldn't even know what sort of animal species I would be even looking for if I was there.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't know. And like in Indonesia / Malaysia, which is nearby, is so different anyway. That would be completely alien. Like what?
Yeah. I would have no idea. Yeah, but yeah, my God. Singapore is 100% on my list of places that I'd be.
Oh yeah, that'd be so cool.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, when we go on our Oh Brother podcast tour, we know we've got
there we go.
listeners in Singapore. So we can excited about this. Oh man. Well, we'll get that in the books for 2022.
All right. Sounds good. I think that'll wrap us up then. I think we'll be good to go.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
You guys have a good rest of your evening, and we'll talk soon.
All right.
Heck yeah.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.